I'm so excited to introduce all of these adorable native babies. So let's see, to start off our toddler regalia review, first up we have Tanya Copper Jane. Tanya Copper Jane is 14 months old and a citizen of the Kluane First Nation of Canada on her mother's side, and from the Six Nations of Grand River on her father's side. Tanya's mother is Alge Kluane, and Amdagek is Daklwedi, and her father, Scott, is Mohawk. Tanya means little waves in Don K. Tanya is wearing regalia that reflects and honors her Tlingit and Luanman and Mohawk people. The purple and white colors of Tanya's regalia were specifically chosen to represent and reflect her Mohawk ancestry. Her beautiful cape and headdress were both designed by the renowned Tlingit and Tahltan dancer and artist, Una Ann. Tanya's cape has rabbit fur on the collar and on the top of the headdress, bringing together the white and the purple. The Daklwedi killer whale crest was inspired by Tanya's great-great-grandparents' crests. Tanya's auntie Heather Kalflaw, founder of the renowned Dixon Designs, created this beautiful, very special tunic designed by both Heather and Kluane. The seaweed designs on the bottom of the tunic and the beadwork on the back of the tunic were designed by Heather, also inspired by the great-grandparents' design. The beadwork on the waist of the tunic was beaded by a local Tlingit artist that Kluane acquired at her first Sealaska celebration, a special memory she can share with her daughter for many, many celebrations to come. The fringe and the hide reflect her southern touch-tone and island ancestry. The tunic continues to have a purple design on the bottom, reflecting her Haudenosaunee Mohawk ancestry. Her baby mocks were a gift to Tanya by Daklwedi artist, designer, and trapper Minnie Kark from the Daisleen Kwan, Teslin, Yukon. A special feature of Tanya's regalia is the baby belts. Auntie Heather created this specially for Tanya, as she is always carrying her baby. Purple, white, and black bright beads blending the past with the present for this special little Keat. Let's all give Tanya a big round of applause. One more round. What a little superstar. Oh. How Tanya. Up next, we have Houston Ashapnek. Houston is 4 years old from Juneau. He is Tlingit, Choctaw, and Kiowa. He is Daklwedi from Keet-Gushi Hit in Klukwan. Houston's parents are Barbara Dude Daklwedi and Sean Ashapek. I want to make a sidebar. If I mispronounce anything, I do not mean any disrespect. So Houston's parents are Barbara Dude Doxwady and Sean Ashpeck, Choctaw and Kiowa. He is escorted by his mother, Barbara, and grandmother, Lorianne. He is the grandchild of the late Michelle Dude of Juneau, Leroy Hughes of Huna, and Dawn and Lorianne from Standing Pine, Mississippi. Houston loves dinosaurs, Bluey, and testing the patience of his older siblings. Houston is wearing a button robe with a killer whale crest made by his mother, Barbara, and Aunt Margaret Katzik. He is also wearing a handmade traditional Choctaw shirt trimmed with the diamond design. The diamond design represents the markings of the eastern diamondback rattlesnake. The rattlesnake feeds on insects and rodents that constantly threaten the Choctaws' harvest and crops. He is wearing a traditional colorful beadwork collar neck, medallion, and a belt, which are often worn with Choctaw attire for cultural events and special occasions. Houston's cedar hat was made by his mother, Barbara, and Aunt Heather Westica, and Grandma Vicky Soboloff. His leather moccasins were made by Heather Westica and feature a beaded killer whale design. Let's give a big round of applause for Houston. Up next, we have Trayden Watts. Trayden Watts is 4 years old and is Yaklanas double-fin killer whale. Trayden is the great-grandson of Vesta Johnson of Heidelberg, Alaska. His parents are Nakisha Watts and Tony Watts, and his grandmother is Tony Weber. He lives in Birch Bay, Washington, where he attends More Smiles Daycare. His Haida name is Skill Yath, which means lucky raven. Trayden is wearing a raven tunic and a double-fin killer whale button robe and a raven's tail headband made by his great-aunt, Vicky Soboloff. He is accompanied by his brother, Gray Watts, who is wearing a raven tunic and a raven's tail headband, also made by his great-aunt, Vicky Soboloff. Howa, Trayden. Let's give him a big round of applause. Slonk Patka. Howa, Trayden. Up next, we have Eloise and Ruth Scott. Eloise and Ruth Scott are 5 and 3 years old. Eloise's Tlingit name is Chowdugay. They are Tlingit, Muskogee Creek, and Unungah from St. George Island. Their parents are Margaret Katzik Gunachadi from Jiskat Kwan, and that's not them. Oh, okay. Sorry, change of plans. Next up, we have Ray Asiksik. Ray Hope Asiksik is 4 years old with family from the villages of Metlakatla and Shaktoolik and lives in Anchorage. Her Smalgach name is Awaya, and she is Simpsian, Haida, Yupik, and Inupiaq. Ray's mother is Siga Limi of Gunhada, and her father is Hook Umzabt. And they were adopted by David A. Boxley. Awaya loves Barbie, hoo-ha, Halloween, and pizza rolls. Awaya is wearing a tunic made by Gigi, Theo Bayou, and Gunhada design by Abel Ryan. Simpson from Metlakatla. Gigi also did a small weaving pendant on the back collar. She's wearing a cedar bark hat that she inherited from her brother that was made by Haida Uncle Edward Peel of Sitka. Aoia's Guispanal was made by her mother. The crest design is their family crest made by her uncle, Guibaum Lacha Simpson from Metlakatla. Aoia's crest design is white as she has loved learning about the white raven in Anchorage. She is her mom's gumboot, so mom beaded a gumboot design on the tie, which came from the moccasins of her late Auntie B from Metlakatla. Aoia is also carrying her drum made by her uncle Zach Boxley, Simpson from Metlakatla, and an owl design on it for her because she loves owls by Yaya David A. Boxley, Simpson from Metlakatla. Howa Ray! Up next, we have Zoe Bravo. Zoe Bravo is 3 years old. Her Tlingit name is Chotlis Tla. She comes from the Lunachadi clan. Her mother, Pamela Johnson, escorts her along with Laura Yates. Zoe's father is Elenzar Bravo, who lives in Anchorage. Zoe is wearing a cedar hat made by Judy Helgeson and her beaded hair ties that were gifted by her grandmother, Julie Lorenzana. Zoe's ermine earrings with the colors of green, white, and red, which represent her ties to her Mexican heritage, were made by Ashley Diaz. Her bib was made by Lou Dennis of Anchorage with black and red wool with a raven design with black and red and white beads, flowers with mother of pearl buttons. Zoe's button robe with the 2 coho designs are SNEP designs made by her mother, Sankata, out of wool, beads, oh goodness, sorry. Zoe's carrying a drum that was given to her by her grandfather, Henry K. Johnson Sr., with a raven and coho design. Zoe's moccasins were made by Audrey Armstrong from the Koyukon Athabascan tribe with moose hide and beaver trim with beaded red flowers. White and red beaded trim, these moccasins were gifted to Zoe by her stepfather, John Totemoff. Another big round of applause for Zoe. Slankpatka. How was Zoe? Now we have Katlia Budke. Katlia is 3 years old. Her Tlingit name is Shautin. She comes from the Kagwantan clan of Huna. She is Eagle Wolf from Gooch Hit of Huna, Wolf House. Her mother and father escort her, Kira and Casey Budke. This regalia was gifted by numerous family members. Let's give a round of applause for Katlia. Up next, we have Estelle Evans. Estelle is 3 years old. Her Tlingit name is Tuthla'an, and she is Kagwantan and lives in Anchorage. Her mother and father are Devin and Dantario Evans. Estelle's headpiece was made by Kuksani, Audrey Marvin, and features her eagle clan. Estelle's vest was made by Audrey Marvin and beaded with eagle and flower designs. Her bib was made by the TCLL program, originally belonging to Kaija Guthrie. Her octopus bag was made by Audrey Marvin and features flower designs. Her Devil's Club necklace was made and gifted by Melanie Rodriguez. Her moccasins were made by Christina McDonald of the Tlene D of Angoon. Her moccasins are moose hide, sea otter fur, and size 11 seed beads and feature her favorite rainbow colors. Estelle has been dancing in her regalia with the Ankit Kwan dance group of Anchorage since she was 2 years old. She enjoys spending time with her family, doing gymnastics, ballet, and reading her Baby Raven Reads books. She is thankful to her auntie for helping her on stage today. Hawa Estelle Swankpatga. Now we have Aaliyah Fulmer. Aaliyah is 5 years old and Tuktain Tan and lives in Juneau. Her Tlingit name is Shawat Gake. She is escorted by her mother, Yolanda Fulmer, Tuktain Tan, and her father, John Garcia, Kagwan Tan. Aaliyah is wearing a cedar twined hat made by Louis Chiknikoff Clady. Her vest is made by Jane D'Angeli. The seagull beadwork is Anita Lafferty. The Yaith Kudi hit beadwork is by her mother, Yolanda Fulmer. She wears raven's tail apron, cuffs, and collar made by Georgia Bennett. The raven's tail bag is made by Yolanda Fulmer. The clapper paddles are made by Ray Nielsen Sr. Slankskatka for Aaliyah. Hawa Aaliyah. Now let's welcome Vivian Janes. Vivian is 4 years old from Metlakatla. Her Tsimshian name is Klunich. Her crest is Gibzutauda killer whale. She is escorted by her mother, Rami Janes. Vivian's maternal great-grandfather was master Tsimshian carver and artist Jack Hudson, and her great-grandmother was his wife, Marion. Vivian enjoys singing, dancing, harvesting traditional foods, kayaking, and just being a typical kid. Vivian's regalia was made by her mother, Rami, and her aunt, Emily. Her dress was designed and sewn by Emily. Her vest was sewn by both her mother and auntie. The killer whale crest on the back of her vest was designed by her mom. Her apron was made and designed by her mom and sewn by her aunt Emily. The killer whale head was drawn by her mother as well. Her cedar headband was woven by her mom. The necklace that she wears belongs to her mother. Finally, her moccasin boots are by the company Minnetonka Moccasins. Slankskatka for Vivian. Hawa Vivian. Now let's welcome Analia Johnson. Analia is almost 20 months old. Her Tlingit name is Kushkadana Escoma. She is inland Tlingit, Deshitan from Carcross in Canada. She is escorted by her parents, Felicia Johnson, Deshitan, and Gary Johnson, Duxwedi. Analia's raven headdress was made by Wayne Carlick. Her cedar hat was made by Colleen Nelson. Her dance tunic was made by her mom with beadwork by her grandmother, Annie Ladew. Her moccasins were made by Annie. Her raven's tail leggings were made by Erin Cothedy Pauls, and her robe by Guna Jensen. She carries an octopus bag by George Baum. Slankskatka for Analia. Now we have Ford Jones. Ford Jones is 4 years old. His Tlingit name is Shtahlwe, Shtahleu. He is from Yakutat, Anchorage. His mother is Yagal, and his father is Jared Jones, Sukpiak. He is escorted by his mother, Yagal, and his sister, Shkik. He is wearing regalia. He is wearing sleeveless tunic made by his mother with floral beadwork by his maternal aunties on the front of the regalia, and a larger floral design purchased by his maternal grandmother, Tiffany Bemis. On the back, the large yaith, or raven, representing his moiety, was created by his maternal auntie, Lori. Slankskatka for Ford. Hawa Ford. Now we have Bonnie and Marlon Lewis. Bonnie Lewis is 4 years old, and her brother Marlon is 2 years old. Bonnie's Tlingit name is Shachan Yech. Marlon's Tlingit name is Yan Sheni. They are Kach Adi. Their parents are Chelsea Lewis from Cake and Joe Lewis from Wrangell. Bonnie is wearing a button blanket with Kach Adi crest, raven's tail headband, and a raven's tail bag. A cedar anklet and moccasins made by her mom, Chelsea. Bonnie's raven's tail apron was made by her grandmother, Judy Mills, and her raven's tail necklace was made by Auntie Ray Mills. Marlon is wearing a button vest with a raven design, a cedar hat, moccasins made by his mom, Chelsea. His apron was made by his Auntie Ray Mills. His bag was made by his grandmother, Judy Mills. Let's give them some encouragement. Oh, all these kids are just so beautiful. Now we have Jacob Masters. Jacob is 4 years old. He is a raven from Hoona. He lives in Anchorage. His mother is Rebecca, and she escorts him today. Jacob is wearing a t-shirt tunic made by his auntie from AZ Creations. He is wearing a cedar and sea otter hat made by his auntie Star. His boots were made by his mother Rebecca. The shin wraps that he wears are from great-grandmother Beatrice. Howa, Jacob. Next we have Lily. Lily is 2 years old. She is Chuknedi. She is escorted by her mother, Angela. Chuknedi from Hoona and her father, Maurice. Lily is wearing a Chuknedi bear blanket that was made by her mother. Her mother also has made the beautiful beaded blueberry hair barrette. Lily's cedar headband was made by her brother, Michael. Slankut ga for Lily. Howa, Lily. Up next, we have Nikki. Nikki Miller is 4 years old. She is Simpson and Haida and belongs to the Killer Whale clan. She lives in Juneau. She is escorted by her mother, Chelsea Miller. Nikki is wearing a vest with a fully beaded killer whale on the back. Chelsea, her mother, did the beadwork. The vest was made by the owner of Lupin Leather and Beads. She wears moccasins and a headband also made by her mother. She carries a drum her mother also made. Slankut ga for Nikki. Howa, Nikki. Up next, we have Elizabeth Peel. Elizabeth is 3 years old. Her indigenous name is Jatsinga. She is of the Yoklanas, Haida clan, and many Goats Navajo clans. Her mother is Kara Wallace, and her father is Charles Peel. They live in Saxman. Her father escorts her today. Jatsinga is wearing a button robe with a raven brown bear crest that her Chana Lee Wallace made for her. The robe was made with love and care by her Masani Winona Wallace and her mom, Kara Wallace. Underneath, she wears a traditional Navajo silk top, skirt, and jewelry moccasins. Her raven's tail headband was made by Kinsey Young. The colors and patterns. Howa, Jatsinga. Up next, we have my baby, Gyaong Peel Frisbee. Gyaong is 2 years old. His indigenous nicknames are Hyas Hayas, Iskian Islangas Tsuju. He is Haida from Stastas clan. His mother is me, Sarah Peel, and his father is Greg Frisbee from Heidelberg. His father, Greg Frisbee, escorts him today. Gyaong's button robe has an eagle design. That was my baby blanket, made by Dina Russ. Let's see. His cedar hat is red and yellow cedar, made by Yvette Adams Taylor. His leather shin guards have painted eagles made by his dad, Greg Frisbee. His silver bracelet and his silver necklace both feature carved eagles by our uncle, Warren Peel. His drum features an eagle design made and painted by Greg Frisbee. Let's see, what else does he have on? He has a deer call gifted to him by Claude Young. Hawagyang Slankkatka. Up next, we have Arcadio. Arcadio Cade is 2 years old. His indigenous name is Sigyemk. He is Killer Whale Clan and is Simpsian, Haida, and Filipino. He is escorted by his mother, Arlene Espinoza, and his father, Dylan, an eagle. They are from Seattle. Cade wears a button robe with his Killer Whale Clan crest. The design on Cade's robe was created by his father, Dylan. It was created for Cade's Smelgach naming ceremony, where he received his name, Sigyemk, which means he who warms the heart. The design includes a Filipino bag to honor their Filipino heritage. Cade also wears a tunic with a killer whale design. Cade's regalia was made by his nana, Michelle Boxley. Slankkatka for Cade. Hawa Cade. Now let's welcome Shiloh. Shiloh is 2 years old. She is Gunhada clan and is Simpsian, Haida, and Tlingit. Her mother is Chrissy, and her father is Darius. They live in Seattle. Shiloh is wearing a button robe with her Simpsian Gunhada crest. She wears a woven cedar bark hat made by Menskepsa, and Shiloh's design on her regalia were made by her Yaya David Boxley, and her regalia was made by her Nana Michelle Boxley. Shiloh loves to dance with the Ginhoan dancers. How is Shiloh? Slankkatka. Now let's welcome Eloise and Ruth Scott. Eloise and Ruth are 5 and 3 years old. Eloise's Tlingit name is Shauduge. They are Tlingit, Muskogee Creek, and Ununga from St. George Island. Their parents are Margaret Katzik, Gunhati Dei from Jilkat Kwan, and Sir Scott, Muskogee Creek Tiger Clan from Oklahoma. They are the grandchildren of the former Shungu KD clan leader, late David G. Katzik, and late Dorothy Jorgensen, Curtis Scott, and Carol Harley of Oklahoma. Eloise and Ruth both love their family and friends, playing outside in the water and riding bikes. Eloise loves to color, and Ruth loves to sing and dance. Eloise and Ruth are both wearing button robes made by their mother and Auntie Barbara Dude Dakwedi. Eloise's robe has a raven with the wormwood woman's head inside, and Ruth's vest is a raven crest. They are wearing cedar woven hats made by Grandma Vicky Sobolov, Kiksadi, and Double Fin Killer Whale. Their moccasins were made by their Auntie Heather Westica with a beaded seaweed top. Their ribbon skirts were made by their Grandma Carol Harley, Tiger Clan. You will see their octopus bags that were made by their dad and Auntie Barbara with beaded Muskogee Creek knot. Slankkatka for Eloise and Ruth Scott. Howa, Eloise and Ruth. Now we have Coda and Ayana Schaff. Ayana is 5 years old, and her brother Coda is 2. They are Tlingit Raven Seagull Clan. Their mother is Alexandra Brown, Raven Seagull, and their father is Robert. They are from Juneau. Ayana and Coda's regalia were lovingly made by their Auntie Johanna Brown. Slankkatka, clap your hands for Ayana and Coda. Hawa, Ayana, and Coda. Next, we have Henry Wade. Henry is 3 years old from Juneau. He is Tlingit and Haida, and his Tlingit name is Okunek. His mother is Allison and was adopted by Natsedi, and his father, Jake, is Kach Adi. Henry loves mud, cars, and his stomp rocket. Henry's eagle tunic was made by his Auntie Eldry and Uncle Charles, with buttons and killer whale provided by his grandfather, Gary Wade. The cedar hat was gifted by his grandmother, Kristen. Slankkatka, clap for Henry Wade. Hawa, Henry. Now let's welcome William Wallace. William is 3 years old. He is of the Yuklanas and Many Goats clans. He is Dene, Haida, and Simpsian. His mother is Marco Wallace from Saxman. Henry happily wears a rainbow-colored raven's tail headband topped with sea otter trim, gifted to him by William, by his Awa Kara Wallace and Gaga Charles Peel. This rainbow-colored raven's tail headband was beautifully woven by Gitkuya Kinsey Young. William wears a turquoise wool robe with a raven brown bear crest, appliqued to show his family lineage. There are white mother-of-pearl buttons to give a pop to the darker colors of the dancing robe. There is a complementary rainbow-colored trim to the robe and a lightning bolt image at the top of the robe's nape, which is a symbol of power, protection, and strength. William wears a tunic made of turquoise wool with rainbow trim and buckskin leather ties. His raven brown bear crest is appliqued to the front of the tunic and is adorned with white mother-of-pearl buttons. The tunic's back has another lightning bolt pattern appliqued to the tunic nape. William's octopus bag stays by his side and has a not traditional look, but the exemplary side with the beadwork, a raven design, and a mother-of-pearl buttons to decorate its front. It is lined with an octopus graphic fabric. William's little feet are comfortably warmed in buckskin leather moccasins with sea fur trim. The robe, tunic, and octopus bag and moccasins were made by Winona Wallace, his grandmother. William was gifted a dance paddle at Christmas that was carved, designed, and painted by Michael. Hawa, William. Now let's welcome Nakatla Young. Nakatla Young is 3 years old. Her indigenous name is Huya Kuyasut. She is Yuklanas. Her mother is Molly Sharp, and her father is T.J. Young from Heidelberg. Nakatla wears a raven's tail blanket woven by Kinsey Young. The raven's tail headband was woven by her mother, Molly Sharp. Slankkatka for Nakatla. Hawa, Nakatla. Let's give one more big round of applause for all these beautiful babies. Hawa, everyone.